Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to compare the Victory VAP to the Victory 3D HV to see which arrows shoot better. Now the speed difference between these arrows is 40 feet per second. One's a 400 spined arrow, which is a 3D HV with an 80 grain point. The Victory VAP is a 350 spined arrow with a 140 grain point. They both have boning air veins. I made up the 3D HVs last night, and I actually did shoot them inside my house last night, and they did shoot really well, and I'm going to say better than the Victory VAPs. Now I've done these types of tests before at 50 meters with different arrows, and I found my accuracy was pretty similar with most arrows, so I'm interested to see how this goes. Now there's a couple of trains of thought with this process. One, I'll shoot the same score, and it's just based on how well I'm shooting, and I haven't been shooting much because I've been working a lot. So let's just go and we'll talk about the differences in a second. So this is a Victory VAP. Now the first thing is, if you haven't been shooting much, like me, this is a 3D HV, then you shake around more and your muscles will fatigue more. So right now I'm not as steady as I was when I was shooting like a lot of arrows. Now the 3D HV shoots 40 feet per second faster, and you can see it hits high on the target, and that doesn't really worry me. What I'm interested in about is the grouping. This one's a 3D HV, about how well both arrows group. Now the theory is, if you're shooting a faster arrow, then it gets off the bow quicker, so less likely that your hand's going to move from the time you click the button to set the shot off to the time it gets off the rest. So that's the theory. Now that theory is told to me by the chief engineer at PSE, who's now the CEO of PSE. So now the counter argument is that 150 grain point is more stable than an 80 grain point, and a thinner arrow is less affected in the wind than a thicker arrow. With the Victory 3D HV is a 204, the Victory VAP is a 166. So this is a 3D HV. Another 3D HV. So I'm shooting at 18 meters here. This is my backyard. There's no wind right now. The lights are pretty good light conditions. It's pretty dark down the other end, but it's still pretty good for shooting. Like yesterday it was really windy, so I couldn't do the video yesterday. I think this is the last of my 3D HVs, maybe one more. Now I think it's grouping down the other end. I can't really see, but I think there's a group down there, and with the 3D HVs, if you're grouping them, you're running a risk of smashing your arrows. So I'm really pushing my luck here, but let's just keep going for the sake of this video. Another 3D HV. Now with these, that's so new I haven't even moved the nocks. So literally I made them up last night, and I was just testing them inside my house because it's too cold outside, with a view I was going to do the video today. So all the rest of my arrows are Victory VAPs, which are the 166. So these ones will hopefully go in the 10. Now saying that, the state indoor tournament is in 3 weeks time, which hasn't even been announced yet. So I've got 3 weeks to get ready for the championship, and I haven't been shooting. So I haven't really shot since COVID came out. Not because of COVID, I've just been so busy with work. So COVID, literally my business went nuts, and then I closed down another business, and I've been renovating my house. Not that you probably need to know all this stuff, but I haven't been doing the regular practice I normally do. And I can really see it when I'm aiming. So normally when I aim, my dot sort of stays in the 10 ring, you know, it bounces around the 10 ring, and I can see it kind of bouncing around the 9 a little bit now. So clearly not as good as when I practice a lot. So in saying that, I'm on Facebook yesterday, and one of my friends had an aircraft carrier, an American aircraft carrier, because Australians don't have aircraft carriers. We destroyed ours. We ran a ship into our own aircraft carrier. Unfortunate, but that's the way life goes. And it's got this plane hanging off this aircraft carrier. The front wheels are just on and this plane's hanging off, and I went, that's my life. Right there, you can either go, oh bugger, or you go, I'm going to be okay. Like, and that's why I view things as like, I've got the comp in 3 weeks, I'll be okay. I've got to fund my business in 4 weeks. I've got to find $1 million in 4 weeks. I'll be okay. I probably have to sell my house. I'll be okay. So girlfriend probably wants to dump my ass. I'll be okay. Literally, I've been renovating my house for 5 years. I've just finished, and I'm like, I've got to sell my house. It's like a biggest. Anyway, I've been cleaning up. I've been trying to clean my house to get it ready for sale. So. Okay, last arrow. Now, one thing I noticed with the 3D HVs versus the VAPs when I shoot is the 3D HVs are significantly faster off the bow than the VAP. You can feel it in the shot. You can see it in the air when you shoot, and this is only a short distance, 18 meters. But you can just see it, and so I'm kind of interested to see what the grips are like down there, because this feels like it's like boop, where the 3D HVs just feels fast. So now the other thing last night when I was shooting the 3D HVs versus the VAPs, pulling the arrows out the target, completely different. The 3D HVs were easy to pull out of the target, the VAPs were penetrating more in the target and harder to pull out of the target. So it'll be interesting to see what they're like down there in the foam, but last night it was significantly different. With the VAPs I needed an arrow puller, with the 3D HVs I didn't need a puller, they just literally pulled straight out easy. So now, saying all that, when you look at the difference and when you try different arrows out, you should shoot more than just this. This is just for myself and producing a video to see the difference between these two arrows for you. Generally, you want to shoot a round or shoot them for a few weeks, shoot scores and see which ones you shoot better with. I do have archers. The best archer at the local club's got these arrows, and he's got 8 different types of arrows, and I think he shoots about the same score with all of them. I'm not sure why he has 8 different sets of arrows, but he does, and I'm pretty sure it's about the same score he shoots with all of them, a very high score. But I'm interested to see what those are like down there, because they're so different, they feel so different off the bow. So let's go and have a look. Okay, so hopefully my other camera's working. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom down here just in case it's not. Now, the difference in these groups, this 3D HV group, every one of those arrows is touching, like they're all touching each other. They're just a fantastic group, like a really, really good group. Now the Victory VAPs, like, so I shot 6 arrows, and I shot an X, 3 10s and 2 9s, and that's about what I shoot, right? That's, especially since I haven't been shooting, that's that's about what I shoot. I'd be, you know, in my best, I shoot about 298s, 297s indoors, but I haven't been shooting much, right? So, you know, if I was shooting 292s, 293s, not having shot, like, I'd be pretty happy with that. The 9s aren't bad 9s, they're like, okay. And shooting indoors, my indoor scores, when I practice a lot, vary between 293s and 298s on a regular basis. 300 for me is rare. I think I've shot 3 or 4 300s in my life. Shot a few 299s, but generally I'm a 298 kind and 297 out of 300 kind of guy. So that group to me is about where I sit. The 3D-HV group is awesome, absolutely fantastic. So what I do with this group now, the difference is huge. Now, I've practiced with the indoor arrows, like all the indoor arrows, the gold tips, the Victories, the 27s, the 23s, and I shoot about the same scores with all those arrows. The big 27s, the 23s, the VAPs, I shoot about the same, okay? The 300s I have shot, I've probably been with the Victory VAPs, I've shot the Victory XTs, I've shot the Paragons. I shoot about the same score with all these arrows, right? So when people go, I'll try and buy some points with thicker arrows, I shoot about the same scores. I've shot hundreds of scores. I always are around the same, always, regardless of the arrow. Those 6 arrows with the 3D HVs are awesome grouped. So what I do now, based on this and based on what I shot, that is what my group was like last night when I was shooting inside my house. So I shoot inside my house, over the stairwell, inside because it's nice and warm, right? I live by myself, so it's safe. I've got the poodle, but she's fine, she's just sleeping. The 3D HVs last night shot better than the Victory VAPs, and that's the first thing I told my staff last night. So this morning I said the 3D HVs I shot extremely well with last night. So I said I'm going to go home, I'm going to do a video and see which ones I shoot better with outside. Now, based on this and based on good weather, because the weather's quite nice now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot an indoor round with the 3D HVs and see what sort of score I shoot. Now let's say I shoot a 295 or a 296. Then I shoot another one, and then I shoot another one, and then what I'll do is I'll switch to the VAPs or the 23s or 27s, and I'll shoot some with those. Then I'll go back and I'll do it again, and I'll do it again, and eventually I'll develop a log of which arrows I'm shooting better scores with. But based on those 6 arrows, I'll be shooting the 3D HVs for the indoor championship. Now, the other thing I want to look at, because what I find is when I'm shooting indoor, I'm generally shooting into really hard targets and it kills my shoulder. So my shoulder is not hurt through shooting as much as pulling out the arrows out of the target. So what I'm interested in here is the difference between the 2 arrows. Now, what's significant is the impact in these arrows. Now, this target, the VAPs, are substantially further into the target. Okay, so in here, there's the group of the VAPs. You can see they kind of there's my fletching. The fletching just fell off. I'm guessing that wasn't shot off. I'm just guessing it fell off. So the first time I fletched these arrows, all the veins fell off. I used some old glue and all the veins were just, oh look, it's just horrible. Look, they're just all falling off. If the glue's no good, the veins are going to come off. And sometimes you got to prepare the veins or prepare the shaft. So, anyway, they didn't come off for the shots, but clearly I'd have to have that fixed before the nationals because you don't want veins falling off at the nationals. The Victory VAPs are penetrating up to that point. The 3D HVs are back to this point, so clearly not penetrating in as much as the VAPs. Now, there'll be a couple of reasons for that. One will be the VAP is a thinner arrow, and also it's heavier, so it gets more kinetic energy than a 3D HV. Even though the 3D HV is 40 feet per second faster, it has less mass, so less force hitting the target. So let's just try pulling these arrows out. That one's not easy because it feels like it's stuck. That one's easy as another vein falls off. That one's easy. My veins are just falling off as I pull these arrows out. So I'm going to say those arrows, minus the veins, are pretty easy to pull out of the target. And you know, like some of these arrows are actually stuck really well. So I did reuse the veins after the arrows fell off. After the veins fell off, using the glue I just used the same veins with new glue last night. So, but some are sticking and some are not. So that's a bugger when they fall off, but that's life. Now the Victory VAPs, actually they're not too bad either. This is a pretty good target. It's foam and inside I've got plastic, so that wasn't bad. I think the 3D HVs are a bit easier. They were definitely easier last night than the Victory VAPs. So with that said, the 3D HVs I'm going to try for indoor archery, so I'm going to shoot some scores for indoor, but if I was shooting 3D, clearly the 3D HVs, no question at all. Saying that, I shot marked 3D the other day and I did shoot the Victory VAPs because that's all I pretty much had, but I would shoot the 3D HV any day of the week over the VAP for 3D archery. For target archery, if there's a bit of wind, I'm clearly going to go for the VAPs without question, but I still want to test the difference. Now I'm also going to say that if I get these numbers wrong, the first 1400 was shot, I think, by Clint Freeman, an Australian down in Tasmania, and he shot 80 grain points with his arrows. These days everyone's shooting heavier points, but back when he shot his first 1400, I'm pretty sure it was an 80 grain point he shot. So back in the olden days, everyone was shooting light points. These days everyone's shooting heavier points. So don't get discouraged by going, well, I need heavier points. I mean, I had a guy come in my shop and he had 80 grain points and he was like, oh, I need a bit more stability, I'm going to go to 100 grain. Now he was just a beginner. It's not going to make any difference at all. If you could shoot that type of group there at your club as a beginner, you're going to be shooting really, really well. So don't worry so much about it. Like, you don't want 30 grain point, but 80 grain point is fine. So hope that's been helpful for you, and if you take anything from this video, the more you shoot, the better you're going to shoot, because it's just going to make you so much steadier. It's going to build your muscles. You're going to be more consistent in the shot, and that's what's important. And enjoy it while you do it. Don't take it like sheep stations that this is life or death. Just enjoy the whole experience. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.